The card for both Night 1 and Night 2 seemingly has been released for WrestleMania next weekend. In this quick video, I'm going to go over the matches that are going to be on Night 1 and the matches that are going to be on Night 2. I'll tell you what I feel about this WrestleMania, the card, and what I think will be the best match from each night, and a few other things on this episode of Screw the Script. Welcome back, everybody. Maverick here once again with Screw the Script. Like I said in the quick intro, it looks like, and I'm looking to my left on my laptop, I'll have it up here in a second, but it looks like the WrestleMania card has been revealed for both Night 1 and Night 2 from a Wrestling Observer newsletter. Now, that's not like the most accurate source always, but as it stands, this is just going to be my review on both Nights 1 and Night 2. Obviously, the card is probably going to be subject to change. Maybe these matches aren't accurate for each night, but just with what has been released here, and I've seen it in other sources that are showing the same matches for each night, so it's seemingly it looks like it's likely accurate. So I'm just going to go based off that. I'm honestly just going to go right down the list here. And I'll have it up here for you guys for the remainder of the video to look with me. So it looks like the first one listed is War Raiders versus the New Day. I'm assuming that's for those tag titles. This one's kind of a toss-up for me. I'm not super hyped for this match, but the New Day has always been great in the ring. The War Raiders can hold their own. I think just with the terms that the purpose of the New Day being heels, I think that they take the titles at Mania. I think they're going to have a heel title run here soon. Not quite sure when Big E's going to get back in the mix. Maybe at some point after they seemingly cheat or something to win the titles against the War Raiders. I just think that the New Day for over a decade now has been arguably the most popular tag team in WWE history over the last 10 years or so. So put it back on them. Let them have a solid heel run as the tag champs for Raw, I believe, which is I forget which is which. I always get them mixed up, but you know. So that's what I would like to see, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think it'll be a solid 10-minute bout, nothing crazy long, but it won't be, it won't be a stinker. It won't be a short match. There are a couple matches between both Night 1 and 2 that I think aren't really worth being a WrestleMania match, and then I have some other minor complaints that I'll get to later, but that's my pick for that one. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. We'll see if Cargill is ready for the Mania spotlight in a singles match. She has been off of TV for quite a while, just learning backstage from trainers. She was extremely green when she was in AEW, and that was very apparent when she was out there getting pushed by Tony Khan over in AEW. And she had a small push early on when she jumped to WWE, but that was kind of short-lived because she eventually, kind of was just dropped off of TV and weekly shows. But, good for her. Do I think she beats Naomi? This one, actually, for me, it might not be for you, but for me, this is kind of a toss-up. This is actually kind of tough. But I'm going to go with Cargill on this one. I think if they're going to put her in a Mania singles match, that they're ready to build her as like the next top, threat to the women's division in WWE. So I'm picking Jade Cargill on that. Next, we got LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Easy one for me. LA Knight deserves this win. He is such a megastar that for this past year leading up to this Mania season, he really just kind of fell off. So I think if they want to build him back up, give him the win at Mania. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair is also announced for Night 1. I've expressed in the past how I think this is kind of... It's a hard match for me to get behind because I'm going to say there's a 90% chance that we see Charlotte win, break her dad's record. If she hasn't tied it already, I can't quite remember actually now off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure she's tied with it or very close. Either way, If anyone's going to break his record, it's probably going to be his own daughter, like I've expressed in the past. So this almost just seems too predictable. I would love to be wrong and have Stratton really go over. She's homegrown from the state that I was born in. But my heart, my gut's telling me Charlotte Flair wins. I don't think it's going to be a bad match. They are both great in the ring. I just don't think Charlotte Flair, it's the name, you know. She's a Flair, so she's going to get everything handed to her, basically. Now, not to say that she hasn't worked hard, because she has worked hard, but she comes back and just immediately, like that, skips over every other wrestler in the women's division that's maybe more deserving for a title shot, and she gets a title shot. And that I don't like, that I don't agree with. I've never liked stuff like that. So I'm a little sour on this match, but I think it'll still be a solid Mania women's title match. But I'm going Charlotte Flair on that. And then we got, I think this will probably be the most fun match of the night. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. I have given my flowers to El Grande Americano. We all do know that it's Chad Gable. You're Chad Gable. We've been through this before. I think this is going to be fun. Rey Mysterio is a part-timer now. I don't think it would do El Grande Americano justice if he loses to Rey Mysterio at Mania, but you got to please the crowd. So far, I have a lot of heels winning on night one, so I'm going to give this win to Rey Mysterio because El Grande Americano is honestly just a glorified, like, fun gimmick that isn't going to last forever. Chad Gable will, go back to just being Chad Gable at some point. So I'm giving the match to Rey Mysterio here. Excuse me. Gunther versus Jey Uso. I think this will actually be, so like I said at the beginning, I'm going to pick match of the night for each night. This is my match of the night. I actually expressed in previous videos how I just was very lukewarm on this feud, saying that Jey was not ready for the spotlight. I still don't think him as a in-ring competitor is quite ready for a title. But with how they've built the story the last few weeks, they have really saved this feud for me. And I'm going to pick the upset. I think this will be the upset of WrestleMania, actually. I think Jey Uso is going to dethrone Gunther. I don't think they're going to have Gunther have a really, really long title run like he had with the IC title. So I see Jey Uso. I mean, just imagine. The crowd's going to go nuts when he comes out to the Yeet chant. Him winning this, they're going to be yeeting for like a half an hour. Hopefully not forever, but I just think they can't pass up on how the WrestleMania crowd would react to Jey Uso beating Gunther. It's built up very much as the David versus Goliath sort of arc. And then they got personal stuff involved in this feud 2 weeks ago on Raw, I think it was. I don't think it was this past Monday. Either this past Monday or 2 weeks ago on Raw. With Gunther beating down Jimmy Uso while Jey was, handcuffed. Brilliant. I think it was great. Getting blood involved, I've expressed before, WWE doesn't use it enough to really impact matches. Yes, I know there's people on the other side saying, well, the fact that they use it so little makes it more of an impact. Well, I think there's a fine line in between that WWE can lead more towards using it. And then obviously we got AEW guys like Jon Moxley who bleeds just by you mentioning his name. He's probably bleeding now. They used to use it too much. They have been working better at getting more towards the middle because we haven't seen it a whole lot. I mean, Dynasty, for example, I think there was only one match, if I'm not mistaken, that had blood. Yeah, and it used to be like every other pay-per-view match in AEW had blood, but they've heavily brought back that use. They still use it more often than WWE, but I think they're using it like quite in the sweet spot, which is what I like to see. And I'd like to see WWE kind of use it a little bit more. But I'm going Jey Uso for the upset. And then obviously this probably is the main event: Rollins, Reigns, and Punk. Maybe there's going to be two upsets in my mind. I really think Seth Rollins is going to pull off the victory here. I think everybody's too focused on Punk and Reigns, and I think they're going to target each other too much in the match. And I think Rollins is going to steal one here. That's what I want to see. The big Mania, the popular vote, the popular choice. Now that he's finally main evented in Mania, which it's crazy to think that he never did, but looking back, he never did. The safe pick is CM Punk. So this is a battle of my gut saying CM Punk just because it's a safe pick. My heart wants Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins has been one of my favorites in WWE for a while now. I don't think Reigns wins this. I don't think there's a reality where he wins this. I think he's going to get screwed over by maybe Punk with like his deal that he has, maybe with Paul Heyman. I just think he's going to get screwed over by either Punk or maybe even Heyman himself. So it's a toss-up between Punk and Rollins, but I'll say Punk just to close out night one with a good crowd reaction. Night two, I'll go through a little bit quicker because it just doesn't look as good outside of a couple of matches. I think night two is far inferior to night one. I think night one is just a lot more superior in terms of start to finish with storylines and feuds and whatnot. Night two really just only has 3 matches on there that I really care about. We'll just get the first one out of the way because I've expressed how much I don't like it. The Io, Rhea, and Bianca triple threat for that title. I think this is the messiest storyline going into Mania. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they took the belt off Rhea a little over a month ago, 2 months ago now, after Bianca winning that women's Elimination Chamber. I think everybody wanted to just see one-on-one Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for that title. Then they had to get Io involved. It became messy. Then they had it's just going to be Bianca and Io, no Rhea, who's arguably your biggest female star on the card. That pissed me off. That pissed off a lot of people. I think they got backlash from that, and they're like, okay, how do we bring this back to, please the fans? They tried doing some stupid, special guest referee match with Rhea and Io as Bianca was the special guest ref. It was just a mess, and all for it to just turn around and have the Raw GM come out and say, you know what, I made a mistake, let's just make it a triple threat again. I don't know, it's just a mess, and put the belt back on Rhea. That's my pick. That's all I want to talk about in this match because that's all the amount of time that I want to give to this match. Breaker, Penta, Balor, and Dirty Dom, I said in a previous video, I think is all around between both night 1 and night 2 is going to be the best match in terms of pure wrestling. This is one of 3 matches on the card that I'm actually, on night 2, I should say, that I'm really excited for. I would love to see Dirty Dom get this victory. That's what my heart wants because he's him and Breaker, like I've expressed, are the 2 young stars to build around in WWE, and I think they could have Dom get that belt. I don't see a world where Balor wins. Penta, maybe if they want to put a belt on him super early, but he's only been here for like a month and a half. The safe bet is Breaker just retains. So I think Breaker just retains. That's just what my mind tells me and my gut. But I would love for Dirty Dom to win and just go around, maybe build like a feud between him and Balor, because if he wins, Balor's going to get jealous. I mean, we saw that clip on Raw backstage where Balor called him out saying that he can't get the job done and he's not good enough to be on the big stage. So maybe they could go that route, but right now I'm picking Breaker. It's just a safe pick. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Really not a whole lot of build. They just needed to find something for these 2 guys to do, and so they kind of threw together a half-assed storyline and feud between these 2. Really don't care about this match. It's just going to be a match. This could have been kept off the card. I'll tell you why in a second. But I'm going to pick Drew McIntyre for this. Then we got Randy Orton versus somebody. This could be returning Aleister Black. Not quite sure what they're going to do here, so the match itself probably won't be that exciting because it's going to be half-assed and thrown together because they had to scrap the Kevin Owens storyline after his injury. So whoever it is, I'm probably going to pick that person to win. 9 times out of 10, when it's a surprise debut or return, they usually win. So whoever it is, they're going to pick up the win over Randy Orton. AJ Styles, Logan Paul. Don't care about this match at all. AJ Styles deserves better, but he's also at the tail end of his career. I cannot stand Logan Paul. Yes, he is really good in ring, but just in terms of him as a person, not even the character in pro wrestling, I hate the Paul brothers. I've expressed it before. A lot of people don't like them. I don't like them. Hopefully AJ Styles wins this. But yeah, that's really all I have to say on that match. It's another match that I just don't really care about for Mania. Liv and Rockwell versus somebody. This is probably going to be a fun, like, returning. We've seen Trish Stratus and, other retired female competitors come back. Maybe they do something like this. Otherwise, I'm not really quite sure what they do. Or this could be maybe like an NXT call-up of two. Like Jordan Grace could be getting called up for this. And maybe like Stephanie Vaquer and the two of them tag together and beat Liv and Raquel. I'm not quite sure what to say on this as well. So I'm not like super excited for the match because, again, they'll probably lose to whoever the surprise competitors are. So kind of predictable. And then you got the main event, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Really the main thing on night 2. Like I said, night 2 is just not nearly as strong as night 1. Outside of the Breaker Fatal 4-Way match, this is the only match that I truly care about on night 2. I want John Cena to win this. My heart and my gut is telling me that John Cena wins this. I think they actually have him break the record. I don't know why you would have him come back and make the biggest heel turn in history only for him to lose to Cody and then kind of just disappear for a little bit. And then, God, I hope not just come back as a face and all of this kind of just get wasted after it being the biggest heel turn in 20 years. Another reason why I want to say John Cena wins is because there was a leaked schedule for John Cena. Now, if you may remember, when he came back to do his farewell tour, he's only been on TV 4 or 5 times, and then he was in the Elimination Chamber, and then he was in the Royal Rumble. And he's been back for a few months. And then the last 6 weeks now leading up to WrestleMania, he's only been on a few of the shows to cut promos against Cody. No matches, nothing. But he's scheduled for 12 appearances post-WrestleMania. Now, I don't know why he would be scheduled for so many if he isn't going to win the title at the end of night 2. So maybe this is my bias because I've been Team Cena since this all started. I really think he's carrying the feud. But I'm going to go John Cena. I'm probably going to be dead wrong. But just my gut feeling, the way that I feel that this is going, Cody, I've expressed he's fine in the ring. He's had good matches here and there, but a lot of his feuds he gets carried. He's just not. I think he's overrated on the mic. And I know that might upset some listeners, some people watching this, but I just think that he is very rinse, wash, repeat. Once you've heard one Cody Rhodes promo, you've heard them all, is kind of how I look at it. Every once in a while, he'll have a promo on the mic that's different than his usual norm, but most of the time it is the same stuff, the same regurgitated stuff. He always has to bring up his dad and his upbringing and things like that. It's just almost every promo's like that. So I think John Cena picks up the win. I hope. The safe bet, obviously, you keep the belt on Cody. But I'm going John Cena for that. Fuck it. And now just some minor complaints. The reason why I don't like matches like Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre being on the card, and then going back to night 1, I think the only weak match night 1 is the LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu match. Why in the world aren't the SmackDown tag titles being defended? And then why don't we have the other women's titles being defended? I think for WrestleMania, I don't understand why they don't. It's your biggest show of the year. Why don't you have every single title on the line? It only makes sense. This is your biggest pay-per-view of the year. This is the one that everybody tunes into. Even people that don't watch it regularly are like, you know what? WrestleMania, nostalgia. I'm going to watch it. Put your champions on the card. And especially since you have a night 1 and a night 2. This wasn't the case a few years back before they started this. You have so much time, so much TV time, PLE time to include all of your champions, yet you don't have the SmackDown Tag Champs in a match. You don't have the other women's champs in a match. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, this may be subject to change, but that kind of really upsets me. It really does. And also just, night 2 looking a lot weaker than night 1. I think they could have balanced it out better. And now, again, this might not be completely accurate that we're looking at, that you're still looking at. But as it stands, night 1 as a whole just looks a lot stronger than night 2. So that's all I had on that WrestleMania. This has been Maverick with Screw the Script. You let me know down below your matches that you're looking forward to for both night 1 and night 2. And any other upsets you might think may happen, some surprise returns, title changes, anything like that. Let me know down below. This has been Maverick once again with Screw the Script. Thanks for watching.